just show up. I hate to be like a broken record, but really, and what do you have to lose? The worst that could happen if you go after the donut, the worst that could happen is you'll be in the same place you are now. But the best that could happen is you'll get that donut and you'll be moving forward and growing in a way you never thought possible.
Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, and today I am bringing you a very exciting family edition Take the Doughnut interview straight to you for the holidays with Monica Smyth Benke. Now, Monica Smyth Benke is my Aunt Monica and yours. If you need an aunt over the holidays, she can be yours too. She's also a retired CEO of Easter Seals, among other things, and spent 38 years working in the disability field. Hello, Aunt Monica.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Melissa.
This is so exciting. I've got to say, of all the big gets I've had this year, this is the biggest.
Wow. I know you've had some good ones. I've been watching.
Yeah, this is exciting. I'm excited for everybody to start calling you Aunt Monica. But before we get into any more serious questions, because I know you've been thinking about the answers to these questions, I have to
Oh,
ask,
yes. Yes.
what's your favorite donut?
Jelly donut with powdered sugar on top. That's it. That's the bomb.
That's her final answer, everybody.
Yeah,
Jelly
it's
donut.
always been my entire life.
Okay. Well, there it is. Jelly donuts, everybody. That's what I'll bring you next time. I said just a little bit about your background, but tell us more about yourself. What should we know about you? And I know you've done a lot of things, so feel free to go in as many directions as you want to with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I really have had quite an interesting life, and people tell me I should write a book, but I just haven't really gotten around to it. But probably my biggest claim to fame sometimes is being Melissa Forziat's Aunt Monica. I mean, really, that's been some of the most fun experiences I've had is when I've been introduced by you to some of your colleagues and friends and have had such a ball, getting to know them and hope to continue to do that. But I have two children. I'm married. I have two daughters and two grandchildren and four great grands. And I have moved about 20 times in my life, not military reasons or anything like that, just other things. And I have a master's degree in education. And as you said, 38 years in the disability field, which was amazing. I learned so much from the people that we served that I still carry with me today. Um, I took, at one point in my career, I started out with a small agency that had a budget of $300,000. And within 8 years, we had a budget of $8 million. And part of the reason for that is that we completed three mergers in 4 years. And two of them were the hardest mergers that you could probably ever do. So that was amazing. And yeah, so there's been a lot of things. And I'll be talking about, in terms of hints, I'll be talking about my notepad, which I always have by my side. So I just want to make sure that I don't forget anything.
I
Oh,
mean, folks,
yes.
you have to understand, Aunt
Oh,
Monica
yes.
has been prepping for this. I
Yes,
gave her
I
a
have.
lot of lead time, which has been absolutely agonizing for
Probably
her.
too much.
And it was like, how do you pack a whole life into an interview is what we're trying to
I
figure out
just
here.
don't know, but I tried to do it. And so one of the things that that I was always amazed at is that I won a lot of awards, local, state, and national. And one of the ones that I'm most proud of is being one of the great women of Texas back in the day when I lived in Texas, and I love that state. So, yes, it's been quite a ride. So that's kind of a summary. And I also retired about 13 years ago after that very interesting career.
And I will say the process of watching you take donuts in your retirement has been interesting, because it's been a whole new chapter for you to explore.
Definitely has. Yeah. One, I was wondering, since I've worked since I was 16 years old, and when I was getting ready to retire, I thought, oh, I don't know how this is going to work because I was putting in 50, 60, 70 hour weeks for years. And I thought, well, I better make some goals. I better think about what I want to do when I retire. So I made a list of things that I always wanted to do, but never had the chance. I never had the time. And so I just did one thing after another after another. Sometimes I did them simultaneously, sometimes not. But I remember buying a bread machine and trying my hand at all kinds of healthy breads, different breads. I took line dancing lessons. I took quilting lessons and made some beautiful quilts. And I really would like to get back into that again. I took art lessons, Spanish lessons. I explored cooking. We entertained a lot because I had lunch with friends. Just so many things. And I was busy all the time. I wasn't sitting in a rocking chair by any stretch. So it was fun and it still is. Just about 4 years ago, my husband David and I moved to a farm. And so it kind of was almost like a whole other startup because it was in the height of COVID. And David was working out of town Monday through Friday every week. So I would sit there in my rocking chair, yes, it is a rocking recliner. It is. And I was thinking to myself, what have we done? How am I going to live like this? And I thought, well, it can't last forever. Things are going to change and, the world will open up again. So I had to think about what I wanted to do when that happened. And I made a list of things that I wanted to either start, like a bunco group of ladies, and what I wanted to join, the kinds of things I was looking for. And little by little, as things opened up, all of those things happened to the point where now we could be busy 7 days a week and we're about to holler uncle because we need a little downtime. So, yeah, I mean, there's no reason to just kind of sit back and be bored when you're retired. There's so many interesting things to do. You just have to go and look.
What a fun array of things that we can talk about here. Yeah, I am just really interested in digging into some of these questions with you. Let me reset this theme for people who've never seen a Take the Donut interview before. Take the donut is an expression that for me is the same as carpe diem. It's about going after the things that you want in life. It comes from this very strange thing that happened to me in college, where I left an actual donut on a table and it became an object lesson for me and what it looks like to leave an opportunity behind. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to take the donut. I'll link a video here for those who haven't seen that origin story. But basically, this conversation is all about going after the things that you want. And what does that actually look like, practically speaking, for those of us who do it? And based on, some of the things that you said about your overall bio, clearly we can go in a lot of different directions with these answers. So let's see where it takes us. First of all, how are you with going after goals? What is that process like for you?
I've I've really been driven all my life. It was a shock to me, but I was driven. When I started working as a CEO, I there were all kinds of things that came across my desk, opportunities for new programs, for funding, for whatever. And I found myself very excited about it. And then I decided, well, we need to go after this. We need to try this. And I think what really got me going was thinking that some of these things could increase services to people with disabilities. And we work with people from birth to death with all kinds of disabilities, helping them to live as independently as they possibly could. And so that was exciting. It kind of took it off of the focus off of me, and my team and I were thinking about what this could mean to other people as we were going after these different things. And that was very exciting. And then after a while, I mean, success is really exciting too. If you apply for a grant or a program or whatever, and then you get it, I mean, it's great. And in terms of feel good and feeling like you've accomplished something, and the team, it really builds that team together. So that is something that keeps me motivated. But failure also kept me motivated. And I mean, there were times lots of times when we went for something and we didn't get it. It didn't happen. There's a lot of competition out there. And sometimes you're just not in the right spot at that particular time. But that doesn't mean that you just take it lying down. You just get up, dust yourself off, and go after the next one that makes sense, for your organization. And sooner or later, all these attempts, you're getting better and better at the process, and stronger, and you will be successful sooner or later.
Mm. So you started to address the next question there too. When you have something really big that you're going after, what keeps you motivated? You mentioned success, you mentioned failure. Are those the main drivers for you?
I would say, I think so. I think that's pretty much it. Um, I was thinking about some of the things some of the biggest donuts that we did go after and what they meant. Well, the mergers, the two mergers that we did first. One was between two national organizations. Neither one of them really wanted us to merge, and so it was interesting, to say the least, working with the two boards and our two boards and the two national organizations. And so some of them had been tried before and were not successful. But our merger committee on the board, they took the steps and followed a plan to see if it would be the right thing to do. And we found out that our missions were so closely aligned that it really needed to be pursued, because neither organization could really afford to carry the overhead that we were both carrying. And so that would have been a real financial saver that we could have put into programs for people that needed them. And so, interestingly enough, one of our strongest, most longstanding board members was so mad at me for even bringing this potential disaffiliation or merger up, that she didn't speak to me for the better part of like at least 6 months. And she had been a part of this organization and the national organization for decades, and she was about to go on their board, the national board. So she really had an allegiance to that organization. But what we did, the merger committee, would bring all the results of the steps to the board on a regular basis, keep them updated. And then at the point when we were getting close to making a decision at the next board meeting, I decided to do a list of pros and cons. And it shocked me. I mean, I like to do pros and cons a lot for when I'm making a big decision. And the column of pros was so long and the column of cons so short. And I thought, you know what? I wonder if I'm missing anything. And I don't want to be blindsided when I take it to the board. So what I'll do is I will send it to this woman, this board member, and ask her to critique it and tell me if I missed anything or if there's something that isn't right that needs to come out. And I sent it to her, and she told me very sheepishly when I asked her, "Is there any change?" And she said, "No, it looks really good." And I thought, wow. So at the next board meeting, I put that list at the table in front of all the board members. And when they came in, they all sat down and looked at the list they hadn't seen before. And I heard a few of them mutter, "Wow, this is a no-brainer." And the next thing I know, the topic comes up and the board president asks for a motion to approve disaffiliating from one organization and merging with the other. And this board member raised her hand and said, "I make the motion to disaffiliate and to merge with a new organization." My heart almost stopped beating, and there was such a hushed silence in the room. And I looked around, and board members were crying because they really appreciated her. They really valued her, and they didn't want to upset her, but they knew it was the thing to do. So she made it so it wasn't a problem, and she led the way. And for that, I'm really grateful. But we did it, and it was the best thing we could have ever done. And it resulted in some wonderful things going forward.
Mm.
So that was a big, big donut. And it was it was scary for me as a CEO.
Yeah. And it sounds like in terms of things that keep you motivated, again, it's the success and the failure and avoiding the failure and moving towards the success, and having a story like that kind of keeps driving you
Right.
forward. When you think about the really big opportunities that you've seized in your life or the big goals that you've had, a lot of times challenges come up for us, obstacles come in our way. For you, is there a particular brand of challenge that just comes up over and over again, no matter what you're doing? Like maybe it's your Achilles heel that applies to just about everything.
Yeah. Uh, well, yes. And that's been my lifelong struggle with feeling worthy and self-esteem issues. And a lot of people that think they know me or have worked with me would probably laugh at that. They wouldn't believe it. But that has been, as you know, because we've worked through a lot of things together, that has been a real issue for me. And I looked at yesterday. I did some research and I looked it up. So apparently, there are several sources that say that 85% of us have self-esteem issues. And I knew it was high, but that kind of blew me away. And the other thing was the imposter syndrome. I had read that book the first time I became a CEO and sat there thinking, what in the world do I know about being a CEO? And I read the book, and a lot of people have the imposter syndrome. They feel like a fraud because maybe they didn't do it before, or they don't feel like they can do a good job or whatever. So apparently 82% of us feel like an imposter at one time or another in our life when we are starting something new. So yes, those things are really they've been an issue, but we're in good company. That's a lot of people.
I feel like the two of us, like for at least the first 15 years of my adulthood, our conversations were just, hey, can you be nicer to yourself? And then like we would just say that back and forth to the other one until the other one started doing it. Um, that
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
sum of our relationship for 15 years.
Well, and part of success, I mean, when you feel like an imposter or you're worried about your worthiness, uh, part of it is just showing up. And I remember one of the other biggest donuts that I ever went after was after the mergers. Um, we had worked really hard on two of them that particular year, and my management team and I were exhausted. And it was December, so it was the end of the year, and we all were so in need of Christmas vacation, and many people were going away, including me. And so I get this notice on my desk that our state was issuing a request for proposals for $1 million grant to provide services for families dealing with autism. And we had a lot of families that were in that boat, and we had been talking about it for quite some time. And I just sat there and groaned because it meant giving up Christmas vacation. It was due like the first of the year, and there was no other way to do it. So I thought, I've got to ask my team. It's a lot to ask of them. And when I did, they all said, well, we need these services. We got to do it. And so there went our Christmas vacation, and all of us just kind of hung around the office, and everybody had a different piece of that proposal, which was really involved. And we submitted it, and we got that grant. We got the grant. And I can't even describe. We were jumping up and down. The board members were jumping up and down because they had never seen, a grant that size before in our organization. But yes, and so I found out later, the showing up part. I found out later that a bunch of my colleagues around the state who already had programs for people on the autism spectrum, they looked at that RFP, and then they said, "Nope, can't do it at Christmas vacation." And I'm not judging, because it was really easy to just give yourself a break and go home. But because they didn't, and we showed up to do it, that was a big part of, I believe, of why we got the grant. Now, that's not to minimize that we had a good proposal, but still, the timing was everything, and we showed up.
Mhm. So I was going to ask, what's the biggest donut you've ever taken? Is that the one that comes to mind for you?
That and the mergers. That and the mergers. That will, for my entire life, that will probably be the biggest donuts that I've ever gone after.
Mhm. Are there any donuts you're taking right now? What's currently in progress for you?
Well, right now, I'm working on my spiritual growth and my relationship with God. Um, I've had I've been a spiritual person probably all my life. I thought I was, but no, it really wasn't anything like it is now. And we joined a church that is really providing a great support for us in this endeavor. And so, what my goals right now and my husband's goals, we are, we know so many people, so many friends and family that are dealing with really awful situations, through no fault of their own, and whether it's legal, financial, health. And so our goal is to every day see who we can support that day, who we can do something nice for, to encourage, to let them know they're not alone. Because I feel like I have really been through a lot in my life, lots of experiences, many good, some terrible. And I feel like when you go through things like that, uh, you go through them for a reason. It helps you grow, but also it helps you to be more compassionate and to reach out to other people that are going through the same thing. So that's what we're trying to do. That's my goal.
A good goal to have. Now, with that in mind, there may be people who are listening to this who have a donut of their own they want to take, and maybe it's still an idea for them, or maybe they've started on the path and they're looking for motivation to keep moving. So let's sprinkle some encouragement. What would you say to those people?
I would say just show up. I hate to be like a broken record, but really, and what do you have to lose? The worst that could happen if you go after the donut, the worst that could happen is you'll be in the same place you are now. But the best that could happen is you'll get that donut and you'll be moving forward and growing in a way you never thought possible. You and your team and the people you serve. So, and if not you, who? Nobody's better than another person. We're all children of God and we all are worthy. So, and the other thing is, if we don't think about ourselves, but we think about the people that can be benefit from our efforts, then it takes a lot off of our shoulders and it moves the focus to someplace else where it really needs to be so that you can do things for other people.
Well, there it is. The advice, the words of wisdom from Aunt Monica herself. Now, normally I would ask people, where they can find you if they want to learn more. I know that you're retired, okay? Folks, she's retired. But if you want to comment on this video, Aunt Monica's going to look for the comments and I'm going to send them to her. If
Oh,
you
I
feel
would love
like there's
that.
a private message you need to send, you can probably find my email and I can get it to her.
Mhm.
But I would love if everybody watching this would say happy holidays to Aunt Monica because, and thank you, Aunt Monica, because we're doing a very special holiday family edition of this. Um, and yeah, but did you want to give people any other message for contacting you or finding you?
Well, no, I think that's good. But I wanted to give a couple of hints too about helping yourself to grow and to take the donut. I used to have, I don't know why I started it, but I used to have 8.5 by 11 pad on my desk at all times. It never moved. And the reason it was right there is so I wouldn't forget to write down every accomplishment that the that our organization or team or board or I realized during the year. And by the end of the year, it was pages and pages. And I wound up using that as part of my self evaluation when my board was doing my annual review. And it worked wonders because if you wait until it's due, you wait a year, you won't remember half of what you did. So that's a very powerful tool. And I still, kind of do have my notepad handy even now. Um, but yeah, the other thing is to really live a life of gratitude and keep a list of things you're grateful for. You could keep that on your pad too, because what it does is it helps you maintain a positive attitude and not focus on the negative things that happen, but again, keep you moving forward um, and positive. So that is it's a trick a lot of people have recommended, but it really does work. So I would say those two things are really important.
So we've got some bonus lessons in there from Aunt Monica. This is good. Aunt Monica, I mean, this is your time to shine. Anything else you wanted to share
Oh
with everybody?
yes, so I want to tell you what I'm grateful for.
Oh,
Yes, I am grateful. I'm so grateful for my career. I am very most grateful for the people that we served that taught me so much about life and overcoming obstacles, the kinds of which most of us never have to face. I am thankful for friends. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my husband, David, who is my biggest supporter. And I'm thankful for my kids and grandkids. I'm so proud of them. And I am really thankful to be Melissa Forziat's aunt. I mean, you are. This doesn't usually happen, so I'm making it happen. I am giving you a donut. I know you to be the smartest, most creative, most dedicated, funniest donut taker I know. And I love you.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
yep,
This
there you
wasn't
go.
in the plans.
No, it wasn't, but it's my interview.
She just commandeered the whole
Just
interview,
taking
folks.
control.
Now, what do we do now? My goodness. I mean, I have to say I'm thankful. Well, I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for you as well. I mean, I was considering because I like with the biggest donut that you've taken, as we get towards the holiday season, I like to try to wind down. I prefer to sort of not work too much and yeah, I was thinking about not doing any Take the Donut interview this week. And then I thought, but wait a minute, like, why not talk with you? Because, this is that connection to family. And so for me, it was an interesting time to be able to say, well, this, I feel like I need to shine a light on somebody who has been so much a part of all the donuts that I have taken. I mean, pretty much anything that I've gone after as an adult, and all the uncertainty that came with it got bounced off of you first. So I'm so appreciative for that. And, when you talked about the self-confidence and the self-doubt and the imposter syndrome of it all, I think we've worked that out on each other for years. And I do think that's an important thing for people when you get to, we're in the holiday season right now in real time as this interview is going to drop. And for some people, that's a really rewarding time. It's a really enriching time. You're really excited to go wherever you're going for the holidays. And for some people, it's a really lonely time. And I think we both experienced a little bit of each of those things
Yeah.
for holidays over the years. So I think it's important that you find somebody that you can bounce your ideas off of. And for me, that's been Aunt Monica.
Oh, thank you. Same here. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
I think it's important to have at least one person in your corner and at any given time. I mean, you don't need a heap of people. You need one good person that has your back and that says you can do it, and believes in you. And it makes all the difference in the world. So, you can focus on finding that person for yourself, but you can also look to who you can be that person for, because that's just as rewarding.
That's
It,
very true.
yeah, you've continued to blow me away. I mean, we've worked together on strategic plans and setting goals through, I guess, 15 years. And sometimes I go, whoa, we made this goal. She made this goal, and look where she is now. Holy cow. So that's been really exciting, just working with you. And I mean, sometimes in 6 months, the strategic plan is long gone and long accomplished, and we need to start, another one. So that's been a lot of fun. And I think people that work with you are lucky to have that relationship, and I'm just grateful for you too.
Oh, well, I'm grateful for you. And for those of you who haven't had enough family time or loved one time or friend time this holiday season, here you are. I'm gifting to you Aunt Monica. for your enjoyment. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe because there's so many inspirational interviews still to come. I've got one heck of a lineup I'm working on for 2025, folks. So please
Wow.
stay tuned for it because it's just unbelievable. Um, but in the meantime, Aunt Monica, thank you for taking some time. You put a lot of time and effort and care into thinking about how you wanted to answer these questions. So thank you for all the time that you have not only taken on this video, but off of this interview to talk about taking the donut and going after what you want.
Thank you for having me, Melissa.
Okay, everybody who's watching, you know what to do. Go out there, get inspiration, and get donuts. Happy holidays.